Hey, part two. First part, looking at the details of the beginning of the book, the ground shot of the World Series from right in front of home plate, as it were, looking at the details. Now hop into the blimp, rise up above the field of human history, and see the panorama of this idea that God saves sinners throughout the rest of the Bible. You find in the early portions of Genesis, the wrath of God is so enkindled against the sin of man in Genesis 6 that the heart of man is continually evil all the time. And so God is about to pour out a flood of enormous proportions to wipe out mankind. Yet He provides a promise, and He provides a way of escape in the ark, so that He in fact saves sinners from His wrath. You find that in the book of Exodus as one of the pinnacle stories of God saving His people from the hand of the Egyptians and the oppression. And he attributes it further in Deuteronomy. It says, not because you're more numerous than them that I saved you. It's not because you're more holy than them. Because after all, look at, they're dancing around the golden calf in rebellion to their God. And still in Exodus, He parts the Red Sea to show forth that this isn't something you can do. You can't save yourself. Exodus chapter 3 is incredible. Now I will come down and rescue my people, as He foretold and promised back in Genesis 3, Genesis 15. It's another classic example of God. In Genesis 15, God is the only one of the covenant makers between Him and Abram who passed between the pieces of the sacrifices as a contract of their day. Where in the world is Abram? He's off in a deep, dark sleep, so that God alone passes through the pieces and swears on oath to bless him and to be gracious to him. Exodus, you got Joshua and the Judges. You got all these pictures of God coming to the rescue. He says, there's too many people here to deliver. Send the ones who are afraid. Send them home. Still too many. Tell them to bend down and take a drink. And still too many. Send them home. So with that incredible odds, God delivers His people from the hands of the enemy. You find this all through the Kings and Chronicles. And Samuel, you find God miraculously promising and working to set His people free. So that the walls of Jericho, they just come tumbling down. God saves sinners. Read Isaiah, and he's in the temple, and he's just struck by the magnitude of the holiness of God. So that he says, I'm a sinner. I'm undone. I'm unclean. I'm wretched, vile, helpless. God comes with a coal, touches his lips. God says to him, your sin is taken away. Your guilt is atoned for. Isaiah did nothing to help God out. God spoke a promise and provided an action. You get that through Isaiah, through Jeremiah, through Ezekiel. You got valley of dry bones where God says, come together, live, dry bones, come together. Picture of God saving sinners. These people weren't holy, they were sinners. They didn't save themselves, God did. God saves sinners. New covenant promised in Ezekiel and in Jeremiah. And this one where God says, I will gather them from the countries to which I drove them in my anger, wrath, and great indignation, because they're sinners. I'll bring them back to this place, and I'll make them dwell in safety. They shall be my people, I will be their God. I will give them one heart, one way, that they may fear me for their own good, the good of their children after them. I will make with them an everlasting covenant. I will not turn away from doing good to them. I will put the fear of me in their hearts, that they may not turn from me. I will rejoice in doing good to them, and I will plant them in this land in faithfulness with all of my heart and all of my soul. This is what God says. This is what God does. Pinnacle is found in the person of Jesus Christ. Behold, the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world, all by himself. He says to Lazarus, dead in the grave, Lazarus, come forth.